What if you found out about this amazing thing? Let me just give you some of the highlights of what this is. This is a place where your money can go. But this place where your money can go is a magical place. You dreamt about this, I'm sure. You see, this place pays you a guaranteed interest rate for the rest of your life. It can never change. You get dividends each and every single year on your money. That interest and dividends that you earn is tax-free. Not only that, the money inside of this magical place is protected from judgments and liens in most states. And not only that, you can access this money if you need it. Matter of fact, you could take the money out of this account, or at least a large percentage of it, and use that money without stopping the flow of that uninterrupted compounding interest on the money that you put in there. In other words, you can save and spend at the exact same time without missing a beat. Oh, and by the way, should anything ever happen to you, this magical instrument will pay a big old check to your family upon your death, and that check will be tax-free. But that's way too good to be true, but it sounded good while we were at it, right? What if that wasn't too good to be true? With all those things I just told you, why would you not put money in this magical unicorn of a place, right? Well, you would, of course. If this place existed, I'd put all my money in it. That's the things you'd hear for everybody that just heard that. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. Why people don't act when something is really that good. You got to stop making excuses. Every day on calls, we hear people that make excuses why they're living paycheck to paycheck, make excuses why they lost money, make excuses why they're not living a better life, why they don't have more money, why their family can't go on vacation, why they can't afford a nicer car, why they can't move into a better neighborhood. On and on and on it goes. Well, in today's video, we're going to dissect those excuses and why they cannot be your excuse. So let's just rapid fire some of the excuses. Oh, that's only for the wealthy. Oh, they just got lucky. That's too good to be true. That doesn't really exist. I don't have time to learn something new. My neighbor said that's a scam. I called this person and they said that's never going to work that way. And on we go. So I hear this every day, but yet I know, because I have done this, that every single thing is exactly what we teach. Every single thing that we show you, from how to get all the money back for every car you're ever going to buy, drive, and own. Yes, that's easy. That's a piece of cake. How you can use this in business and get all the money back for all the equipment that you ever buy for your business. Yeah, that actually happens. How you can pay off all of your debt by using a process and not have to work any harder, any longer, save any more money, or take on any additional risk.
There's no way that's even possible.
But what if it was? What excuse would you make when all of the answers to your questions and your excuses were answered with factual reasons? So let's just start with this. What if I told you there was a place you could put your money where you got a guaranteed interest rate on your money for the rest of your life? And what if that place where you could put your money paid you a dividend every single year? As a matter of fact, they've never not paid a dividend for well over 140 plus years. And what if that interest and dividends you earned, what if you didn't have to pay tax on that money? What if it grew tax-free? And not only that, what if that money was protected against judgments and liens? And then what if you needed the money, you could access the money and use it without interrupting the interest and dividends you're earning? In other words, you can make uninterrupted compound interest. You can save and spend at the same time. And not only that, what if when you died, that place paid a big check to your family, more money than what you have, and that money was paid tax-free? Most people that hear that would say that's too good to be true. So let's start with that. It's too good to be true. Now, for all of your life, when someone has told you something really cool or something really exciting, did you always counter with, oh, that's too good to be true, there's no way it exists, and then just leave it at that? Or did you take the next step to say, sounds too good to be true, but what if it's not? And then some people would probably say, oh, that sounds illegal. There's no way my money can grow tax-free and all those things. But what if it isn't? What if the tax code actually says it? Now, all that sounded too good to be true, right? But what if it's not? What if it's been being done for hundreds of years? All you need to do then is go to Google and research exactly what we're talking about, which is called the infinite banking concept. What if you also research what wealthy families throughout history have used that magical vehicle? Oh, and that vehicle is called a whole life insurance policy. Although we specially design and engineer these whole life policies to do that, that's what it is. And what if you then found out that the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, and the Morgans, and the Stanleys, and then what if you found out Walt Disney and Ray Kroc both started their companies or elements of their companies using whole life insurance, and then you found out Doris Christopher started Pampered Chef using a loan from her whole life, and you just kept going on right up to the sitting president today. Yeah, that dude, yep, he used whole life as well. Would you start to say, oh, it's still too good to be true, or would you then ask yourself, how are they doing this? And how can I mimic the wealthiest families? And then some of you might actually then say, oh, that sounds illegal. There's no way, it's tax-free, like I would have known about this. Well, then what you should then do is Google the IRS code. And you can look up all the IRS code as it pertains to permanent life insurance, which also means whole life insurance. And you would find out that it's right in the tax code. Matter of fact, this has been around before the tax code was even written in 1913. And then that begs the question to say, if the wealthiest families in history used whole life insurance, and then those wealthiest families in history had something to do with the tax code, wouldn't it just make sense that they actually added stuff in the tax code that favored the place where their money was? Yes, exactly. Here's another one that drives me crazy. I'm too old for that. That insurance stuff is too expensive at my age. Well, do you even know what we're talking about? What if it isn't? What if that's a myth that you've been told? I hear this all the time. Oh, I'm 55, I'm too old. I'm 65, I'm too old. No, what if you're not? And what if you didn't even have to be the insured in the policy? What if you could just be the owner and you could control all the money in the policies and use the money however you want, but because you're too old or unhealthy or uninsurable, you just found somebody else that you had an insurable interest on. Somebody else like a spouse, maybe a child, maybe a business partner. Yeah, this is how this is done, folks. There's a reason why banks are the #1 purchasers of whole life insurance in the world. It's called BOLI, B-O-L-I. Look it up. Yeah, banks own more whole life than anybody. But a bank is an institution, so how can a bank buy a life insurance policy? Well, let me ask you this. When you walked into a bank, how many of the people that you passed that work for that bank are vice presidents? The answer's a lot. Why? Because when they become a vice president and they get promoted, that gives the bank an insurable interest in them because they're an executive of the bank. So the bank then takes out a big old whole life policy, gives them a fully paid up piece of the death benefit, and in some cases funds their deferred compensation plan and many other things with that. So now do you understand? It doesn't matter how old you are, and it doesn't even matter if you're uninsurable. There's a way, folks. And then this is my favorite. Every once in a while, people will scroll through my social media stuff, maybe even this video. They'll watch 1 minute of what I'm talking about, and they'll just say, I don't understand it. and they'll type that. They'll spend the time to literally go in and put, I don't understand. And my comment is always, you watched 1 minute. There's a 40-minute video that explains it all. There's a 90-minute video that explains it all. You watched 1 minute and you're saying you don't understand? Spend the time. Did you learn your trade in 1 minute? Did you learn how to drive a car in 1 minute? Did you learn how to ride a bike in 1 minute? Did you learn how to read in 1 minute? Shall I keep going? You can't learn the infinite banking concept in 1 minute or in one video on Instagram. It takes time. You're developing a skill, and that skill will change your life because it's just a process that you follow. That's all the infinite banking concept is a process of you taking back the banking functions in your life. Now, are you willing to learn? This is a good one. I'm trapped in it. Once I started, I'm trapped, and if I can't make these premium payments, the insurance company keeps all my money. Well, that definitely isn't the truth, because the way we build these policies, we build them with the amount you want to put in for premium deposits, and then that will also make a minimum. So the amount you want to put in the minimum can be as much as 90% different. Meaning, if you started with $10,000 a year, your minimum might only be $1,000 to $1,500 a year. So when people say they're trapped in what? You create the policy because it's specially designed and engineered around your needs, your goals, and the amount you want to save in premium deposits. So if you fail, it's because you failed yourself, not because the policy failed you. You're never trapped. You simply have to understand what it is that you're creating, what it's going to be used for, and what the min-max is, and then the rest is easy. This is another thing that always really surprises me. People have no problem writing a monthly check to pay for their car payment. They have no problem writing a check to pay their credit card payments, their loan payments, all of those. They're making payments every single month to somebody else's bank. But what if I told you that using this process, what you would then have to do is make that same payment for the car, that same payment for the credit card, that same loan payment, except for the payment isn't going to be made to somebody else's bank, it's going to be made back to your bank. It's literally going to be a check written back to you. People stop there because they don't understand that. Well, if you understand that you're giving away the banking functions in your life by paying somebody else's bank for all those things, and it would be very simple that if you just saved enough money in your bank, which is your specially designed whole life, and then we took loans from your bank and we paid off their bank, but then you made payments, the same payment that you used to make to them, but you made it back to your bank, do you realize that you would indeed have all the money back in your private banking system? It's that simple. You effectively would have taken back the banking functions in your life by doing that one simple thing. Money starts in your private bank, moves over, pays off their bank. Then once it's paid off over there, you write the same check, but you change the name on the check back to your bank, and all the money ends up back in your pocket. I'm sure you've heard of it before where they say if somebody got $1 million, 99% of that money makes it back to the original source. Well, what if you were the original source on everything? What if you were the bank? Because that's what they're talking about. Why is it that somebody wins the lottery and then they're broke and they're bankrupt and they run out of money, but all the money went back to the original source, i.e. the bank? Why is that? It's because you don't control the process and you haven't learned how to take back control of the banking functions in your life. That's what we're teaching you here. But anyway, like and subscribe this channel. This is one of my favorites. People often will say to us, oh, I could make more money in the S&P 500. I could make more money over here in this. Wait, what? You can make more money in the S&P 500? Okay. Why not make money twice? See, people think it's this or that. Well, I can either put money in this specially designed whole life or I can put money in the S&P, but I'm going to make more in the S&P, so I'm going to do that. Stop. If you just change one thing and that's where your money goes first and you put it into the policy, you could put it in the policy and then you could take it out of the policy and put it in the S&P 500 and make money on both. So you think you make more money in the S&P? Well, I can make more money than you because I make money twice on the same dollar by using this. And it's not this or that, it's the policy and the S&P. See, this is the and asset, not the and or asset. It's the and asset. I can have this and that, not this and or that. Follow what I'm saying? So with all these excuses, and I just hit a couple of them, you need to really look at yourself in the mirror and decide what's your future going to look like. Are you going to learn one additional step? Are you going to learn how to become your own bank? Well, that's up to you, not me. But if you keep making excuses as to why you don't start something new, try to think about what your future is going to look like if that's the way you handle everything. You don't want to learn a new way to buy a car, a new way in your business to operate. You don't want to learn how you could do better at your work. You don't want to learn anything new because you know everything. That is the single definition of the arrival syndrome. And once you've arrived, the only place to go is back down. So never arrive. Always keep learning. And I'm going to give you one more thing. This video right here. Check it out. It's called BYOB. It will teach you all about the infinite banking concept and how this single concept could completely change your financial future. Now, here is one thing you definitely should never make an excuse for. You see that little button right there? It says subscribe. Click that button. There is no excuse for not clicking it. I'll wait. You done? You click it? Great. All right, there's a little bell up top. What I'd like you to do is smash that bell, and that will notify you every time I put a new video out. And man, people gotta look out for that. Sorry. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you on the next one.